So last year, December 2023, we had the shock of our lives. The UK's Home Secretary announced the Home Office or the Immigration's 5-point plan to reduce net migration. According to them, net migration had reached its record high and there was a need to reduce this, okay? And that is why they introduced this 5-point plan. They said we're going to do a number of things, but for those who do not remember, let me refresh your memory. So one of the main things that shocked us was that they said if you're on a care worker visa, those coming to work as carers or senior care workers, you could no longer bring your dependents, and that only companies regulated by the CQC will be able to offer visa sponsorship.
The first of our 5 points will be to end the abuse of the health and care visa. We will stop overseas care workers from bringing family dependents, and we will require care firms in England to be regulated by the Care Quality Commission in order for them to sponsor visas.
Okay, and they said that this only applies to those that were going to, this is the important part, those that were going to get their visa sponsorship after the date this whole plan will be implemented. So they made us know their plan that they have for the future. However, we all did not know exactly when this plan was going to be implemented. So that was one of the 5 points. Another point was that they said they were going to increase the minimum salary threshold for skilled worker visas from £26,200 per year to £38,700.
We will increase the skilled worker earnings threshold by a third to £38,700 from next spring, in line with the median full-term wage for those kinds of jobs.
So this means that not lots of people will be able to get jobs willing to pay this much, and hence it will reduce the number of foreign professionals that will be offered visa sponsorship to come to the UK. So this was really, really bad news. However, they also said that those under the health and care worker visa, nurses, doctors were exempted from this, and anybody under national pay scale was also exempted from this. So teachers and let's say the military or whatever, they were all exempted from this, okay? So that was the second one. And then the third one was they were going to let the MAC, that's Migration Advisory Committee, review the shortage occupation list and only keep occupations that were really needed on it, and then you probably even change the name from shortage occupation list to salary list or something like that.
We will scrap cut price shortage labour from overseas by ending the 20% going rate salary discount for shortage occupations and reforming the shortage occupation list. I have asked the Migration Advisory Committee to review the occupations on this list because of our new higher skilled worker salary thresholds. And we will create a new immigration salary list with a reduced number of occupations.
And then the fourth thing was that with regards to family visas as well, we're going to increase the minimum salary from £18,600 to £38,700. That was not good news as well.
It will only bring dependents who they can support financially. By raising the minimum income for family visas to the same threshold as the minimum salary threshold for skills workers, which is £38,700. The minimum income requirement of £18,600 has not been increased since 2012.
And the last one was that we're going to also review the graduate routes, and then make sure that abuse was prevented, okay?
Finally, having already banned overseas master's students from bringing family members to the UK, I have asked the Migration Advisory Committee to review the graduate route to prevent abuse, to protect the integrity and quality of the UK's outstanding higher education sector.
So this was the 5-point plan. However, we were unsure exactly when all these changes will be implemented. This was their plan. However, we did not know when everything will come into full force. And if you remember, in one of my recent videos, I did mention that they said that if you get your visa sponsorship today, the new rules will not apply to you. In fact, the new rules will not apply to anybody at all until after the date it has been implemented. That is when the new rule will apply. Okay, so if you're already in the UK as a carer or as a senior carer, you can still bring your family regardless. So far as you had your visa before the dates it will be implemented, it does not apply to you. So that was good news. But the sad part is those that are yet to come and are waiting for visa sponsorship, if they do get it, before the implementation date, that means they are safe. However, if their employer delays or they're not lucky and they don't get a job on time and it has to be after the implementation dates, then there was a problem. They can no longer bring their dependents, blah, blah, blah. Now, what's the implementation date? They told us that the implementation date will be from spring of 2024. And spring is a period from March to May. So we did not know whether it was March, whether it was April, or whether it was May. However, now they have set the specific dates that these things are going to be implemented. So this is a very important video. This is key. So with each of the 5-point plans, there's a different date, and that's what I'll be sharing in today's video. So if you're interested, stay tuned. So my source is the written ministerial statements dated 30th of January 2024. And I'm going to leave the link in the description so that if you're interested in reading it for yourself and know all the nitty-gritty, you can do so. Okay, so this is a legit source. Okay, so like I said, they have stated a timeline for when each of these 5-point plans will be implemented. But before the dates that it will be implemented, it will be preceded by a statement of change where they will give details about that particular plan. Okay, because as of now, people still have so many questions about these plans. Okay, so what they have done is that they have set dates. However, before the implementation date itself, there's another date where they'll give more details about it before it is finally implemented. I hope you understand. So guys, these are key dates that you should keep in mind if you're hoping to come to the UK on a care visa, or if you're an employer looking to employ foreign nationals. These are the key dates. Listen carefully. So 1, when it comes to care worker dependents, they are saying that on the 19th of February 2024, the government is going to lay out the statement of changes to the immigration rules, which will remove the rights for care workers and senior carers to bring dependents with them to the UK. This will come into force on 11th March 2024. The rules will also ensure that care providers in England can only sponsor migrant workers if they are undertaking activities regulated by the Care Quality Commission. So the main rule for carers not able to bring their dependents will come into full force on March 11th, 2024. That'll be a Saturday. March 11th, 2024. So from March 11th, 2024, you can no longer bring your dependent. If your visa was approved after this date, you can no longer bring your dependent. So the latest, if you still want to be able to bring your dependent, your employer should give you your certificate of sponsorship early enough. Your visa should be approved before midnight on 10th of March 2024. That is it. However, with regards to the 19th February, for those who are confused, the 19th February is the date that they'll lay out the statement of changes. Like I said before, what this means is that they are going to give details about this whole thing. Okay, so that by 11th March, you would have understood every single thing, because we still have questions. So they would go into more details on 19th of February about carers not being able to come with dependent. They'll go into more details. They will lay out all the statements of changes, and it will be implemented by March 11, 2024. You understand? So keep these 2 dates in mind. Obviously, I'll be looking at their websites and, looking for any updates. And then immediately on 19th of February, when this is published as well, I'll come and make a video. So if you're hoping to see what the statement of changes will be, kindly hit the notification bell so that when it comes and I make a video about it, you'll be the first to be notified, and then you can watch. Okay, as well, from March 11, 2024, if you are a company or an employer who is not regulated by the CQC, you can no longer issue certificates of sponsorship. So that is for the first point. Okay, now let's look at the other 4 points. So obviously they said as well that if you're coming on a skilled worker visa, if you're coming as an accountant, as an IT personnel, blah blah blah, you will be required to meet a certain salary threshold. If you're not going to earn that amount of money, you cannot come to the UK. And that as well, so when are they going to publish the statement of changes? The statement of changes will be published on the 14th of March, and then the main rule will be implemented from 4th April 2024. So from 4th April 2024, unless you are earning £38,700 per year, you will not be able to come to the UK from 4th of April 2024. But remember that if you are on a health and care worker visa, or you're already in the UK on a skilled worker visa, this does not apply to you. It only applies to those that are going to get their skilled worker visas after 4th of April 2024. So bear that in mind. It's for those who are going to get their visas after this date. So if you're planning on coming, or probably you even have your certificate of sponsorship already, and all you're waiting for is to buy your ticket and come, please make sure you're making your application for 4th April 2024. Okay. And the third thing is increase in the minimum salary requirement for family visas. Okay. So before, if you were inviting your family member, for those that have indefinite leave to remain or those that have permanent residency, all they needed was to be earning about 18,600, about that amount. However, now they have to be earning as much as 38,700 before they'll be able to. With this rule as well, listen carefully, this one is not as straightforward. From 11th of April 2024, the minimum income requirement for this category will rise to 29,000 pounds per year. So although their aim is to get it to 38,700, they are not straight ahead going to move it to 38,700. What they are doing is that from 11th of April 2024, they are going to raise it from the 18,600 to 29,000 per year. And no dates have been announced for the further incremental increase. However, the government has indicated that the final increase will be introduced early 2025. Okay. So if you watched my video where I did a breakdown of the care worker visa update, I stated that it is not going to be a jump from the 18,000 whatever to 38,700. They said they're going to do it in stages. So we only have the date for the first change, right? So the first change is from the 18,600 to 29,000. Later on, they'll announce another date where they'll move it to a higher amount, and then finally to the 38,700 that they have planned. So you still have more time, you understand? So if you're able to get your visa approved before, for these people, the date is 11th April 2024. If you're able to get your family visa approved before 11th April 2024, you're lucky. You have to only show that you're earning at least 18,600, I believe. However, if you're not lucky and then you get it after 11th April 2024, you'd have to prove that you're earning at least 29,000 a year. And those that will get theirs approved after the new date set, where the next, it has been increased further to the next stage, would also have to meet that amount rather. I hope you understand. Okay, so these are the changes, right? Few other changes that they mentioned in the statement is that as part of the move towards a fully digital end-to-end immigration system, the government is phasing out physical documents such as the biometric residence permit and replacing them with e-visas. And then from 1st January of 2025, holders will need to obtain a UK VI account to prove their status digitally. So now we'll not have to have the hard copy BRPs. Now it will be digital. All you need is a UK VI account to prove your status in the UK to your employer, or to prove it to a landlord or whatever. Okay, you will not need the BRP physical anymore. And then also they said that from early April, the 20% going rate discounts for the shortage occupation is being removed, and the shortage occupation list is being replaced with a new immigration salary list. So they are changing it from shortage occupation list to immigration salary list. And then they used to have a discount for some occupations on their 20% discount, where you're allowed to pay the employees 20% less and they'll still meet the minimum salary threshold. However, now they are taking it off. Okay. And then from 6th of February 2024 as well, the immigration health surcharge is increasing from £624 per year per applicant up to £1,035 per year per applicant for adults, and from £470 for a minor to £760 a year for those under 18. And I have done a video about this. Okay, I've done a detailed video about it, and I'll leave that video in the description as well. And then another thing is that we are introducing what we call an electronic travel authorization. So for people that do not necessarily need a UK visa, let's say their nationalities allow them to be able to travel to the UK temporarily, let's say for a visit, okay, without any visa. For such people, they are introducing what we call the ETA, which is electronic travel authorization. So they said that the ETA scheme will be expanded to more nationalities this year as part of a phased rollout. The scheme was open to Qatari nationals in November 2023. So for those in Qatar, it's already being operated. And on February 1st, 2024, the scheme will be extended to remaining of Gulf Cooperation Council countries, that is Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Jordan. Other nationalities will be added to the scheme this year. So what this means is that these people would have to go online and obtain that electronic visa before they're able to come into the UK. Although they don't need a visa, now they will need that electronic visa before they're able to enter the UK, right? So that is it. So let me input the key changes on the screen. So for dependents no longer coming, The details will be announced on 19th of February 2024, but it will take effect on 11th March 2024. For the increased salary for skilled workers, the details will be announced 14th March, but it will take effect on 4th April 2024. For the increased earnings for the family visa, the statements will be announced 14th March, and then it will be implemented from 11th of April. And that is it. These are the main dates that are very, very important that you should know. And I hope you understand this. If you have any questions, kindly leave it in the comments below and I'll be happy to answer. Thank you so much. Bye.